So let's talk a little bit about K-12 education. Representative Anderson, I'm going to look to you because you introduced this topic very early in our program, indicated it was an area of priority for you. The governor called for, this of course is a budget year, so we're going to be dealing with the amount to be appropriated for elementary and secondary education in Minnesota. And the governor, I think, called for a 2% increase on the formula. I'd be interested in knowing what your view is on the issue and where you think we might wind up. 2%, more, less, about the same, and what other things you think we might see in that area of legislative action. So let's start with you.
Sure. So Representative Loon from Eden Prairie, she's the chair of our K-12 Education Finance Committee, and she's authored legislation herself that would have a 2% increase on the formula, and that goes to every child in the state. And I'm a co-author of that bill as well. I think that education is important. It's a key to our success as a state. And so, that's all part of the conversation. But today we also had a different conversation when it comes to education. We talked about the last in, first out provision that we have in contracts in our schools. And what Minnesota has as a policy is that if the school district and the teachers union can't come to an agreement on how they're going to make staffing changes, it automatically goes to seniority only based staffing changes. And so today we had legislation on the House floor that we passed that would say that the school districts and the teachers union need to come to an agreement of what their policy will be. And they can't just default to have it only based on seniority. So if a school district decides to take measures into a place that looks at performance, looks at the needs, and so forth, I think that's good for our students and puts us in a better position in having great schools.
Senator Marty?
I wasn't familiar with the House vote on that. I guess first of all, in terms of overall funding, I think I'm glad to hear the House is talking about a 2% increase on the formula, which the governor is backing, and I think there's a decent chance it'll happen. I think we need to, I'm a big believer in, again, investing in education. In terms of the so-called teacher tenure and who we lay off first, my first response to that is always, I'm not sure why we want to be laying off teachers in the first place. I have real concerns that instead of spending all our time, who should be laid off first, why are we laying off teachers in the first place? I've never heard anybody say that's going to improve education. When there are layoffs, if we're going to do something other than seniority, who grades, who decides? I mean, my concern is we're now trying to do in healthcare what we've been doing in education. We're going to grade everybody and we're going to grade the teachers. How do you grade a teacher? I mean, I can see two ways. The way that might be the most accurate, but it's the most subjective, is have a principal and have others go into the room and observe the teachers and how they interact with people and so on. That way you can get a sense of how good of a teacher is. I think any of us would say we could do a pretty good job of getting a sense of that. How do you do it to stop favoritism where somebody does that? So what do we do instead? We grade them based on the outcome of their kids. Outcome of their kids is a pretty difficult task because the teachers who have the most difficult, most challenging kids are the ones who are going to look much worse. You could be a far better teacher, and if you have kids that are more challenging, you may have worse outcomes in your students. And so I have real concerns about how who judges. And because of that, until we have a better system of knowing who's making the judgment, who's making the determination, I think seniority is a reasonable way. And yes, if the teachers and the administration and the school board can come up with a different alternative, fine. But saying we're going to mandate something else, I have real concern that that's not improving education. Instead, it's going to pit teachers one against another to see who can get the easiest students. And I talked to one teacher a couple of years ago who said he prided himself. He thought he could deal best with the most challenging kids. There was a teacher with more seniority. He said, it'd be stupid to do that if we're grading teachers. I'd take the easy students and push them off. Not that I don't care about them anymore, but I get I'm going to look like a lousy teacher if I take them, even though I think I'm doing a pretty good job. So that's my concern, is if we're going to do anything other than seniority, and it's not something that everybody agrees is a fair way to do it, who's grading the teachers? Who's making that decision?
That's a huge disservice to our parents and our students if we're just going to have the default go to just seniority based, because that's not a real indication of whether that person, one, meets the needs of the school district, or meets the needs of the children that they are going to be teaching. And I think all of us in whatever position that we have in life, we get judged on our performance. And we as lawmakers
I'd
get
love
judged
to
on
have
our
people
performance.
judge people on their performance, but how do you judge somebody based on the outcome of their students? We're trying to do the same thing with doctors now. I just got a note from a doctor who worked at Fremont Clinic, a low-income clinic in Minneapolis. Her score, she was a lousy doctor. All the tests, all the measures said she was a lousy doctor. She went to Fairview University, much higher income clinic, different patient clientele. She got rave reviews. She got performance awards and bonuses because the way she treated people with diabetes, just looking at the diabetes measures, because that's one of the areas we try and measure. Then she went to the West Side Clinic in St. Paul, low-income clinic. Again, she's a lousy doctor. She didn't change. She's a good doctor or a bad doctor or whatever, but she was a good doctor at all three places. But because of her patient base, she gets lousy scores. You do the same thing in schools, so I don't disagree at all about grading teachers and trying to measure people by performance. Who's grading them and how are they grading them, and is the system a good grade? If it's an unfair grade, then you're doing a huge disservice by getting rid of what might be the best teachers because they're dealing with the most challenging students. That's why I don't have any problem with grading them. I just want to know whose grading system we're using and who's making that judgment.
Well, I've had two school teachers in my district that said that they were laid off simply for the fact that they were hired a day or a week later than somebody else. And it wasn't based anything on their performance. They said they did a good job, their school loved them, their students loved them, the parents loved them. And how is that doing a service to our teachers either? Then we're saying we're not going to reward good teachers, and I think that's really demoralizing for those good school teachers, because then they say, well, then what's the use? It's not based on my performance at all. It's merely based on how long I've been here.
See, this is why we don't need St. Paul solutions or Washington solutions. This really should be a decision that's made by the school board or by your elected officials at the school level. And us sitting around the table saying, let's figure this out, I mean, we should be giving the flexibility for our school districts and our locals to be able to make that decision. And you know what will happen? Instead of St. Paul making the decision, maybe they'll solve the solution for us at one of the school districts, and we can use that as an incubator for the rest of the state. They may come, that's the great part about having independent school districts, is they can come up with solutions that we can't even think of right now.
Well, they have that. It's called a negotiated contract, and, you know, that's the default. You either have the default, or you figure out what's the what you're going to put in your contract. Bigger problem for us is how many young teachers are leaving the field. You know, we vilify teachers. We pay them particularly the first years, poorly. We give them some of the roughest classes. And then we blame them when our kids don't do as well as we expect them to. And who's ever said our kid isn't expected to be an A student? No one. So there is a way for that. It's called negotiating. And if you want that, what else are you going to give up? Or what are they willing to give up to keep that priority-based hiring and firing, right? Or layoffs? So there is a solution to that, and sitting across the table, maybe in a room with I guess you couldn't have a smoke-filled room anymore.
No smoke.
Maybe that would help, though. Get them done quick.
Smoke-filled rooms have become more popular of late. All right, well, I suppose we're not going to resolve this issue either.
No.